the public library in your neighborhood, are these libraries still being used, and by whom? Are they still necessary? Also in this program, you'll hear a school superintendent talk about the role of superintendents and how students, parents, and communities benefit. Welcome to Brooklyn 45, and I now welcome Brandon Jeffries, who is a CUNY professor in library sciences and technology. Welcome, Branford.
The honor is mine, Sam. It's so great to speak to you now, sir.
Let me ask you, are people still using libraries?
Oh, in abundance, let me tell you, it is easily one of the most popular and sought after areas, not only just in New York City, but all across the nation, because we're in an era where a lot of times you have to go to someplace to pay. Very rarely do you find a place, Sam, where you can go someplace for free and find everything that you need.
Okay. And the internet is not affecting any of that.
Well, I'm happy to say that there are a number of individuals, and we're talking about children, young adults, adults and elderly that come to the library actually to seek out the technology, not just to use, but even to learn. There are a number of different information centers all across the branches to really support every individual's next steps to enrich learning and also to just enrich your own lifestyle, however you so feel.
Sounds as though you have no concern about how students, how young people, how parents are using the internet. Is that correct?
The only concern, Sam, that I have is the unfortunate truth of budget cuts, which, to be quite honestly, is a state of alarm, especially for librarians in this day and age that see firsthand the many special populations, the many community residents that seek out the library for simple necessities, like even finding a cooling center when it's extremely hot, or being able to print out a resume when you're looking for the next job that can change you and your family's life, and even just to take a leisurely stroll and to look at some culture.
Is it unique to have a librarian who is Black?
Hmm. So that is also something that I personally believe is one of many components that I hold dear to myself, because I didn't meet many Black male librarians when I first started on this journey. And the truth of the matter is, we're not in abundance. It's a very low percentage as you go around to conferences, branches, and it's almost like a silent nod of acknowledgement when we see one another. And having this position with Queens College at the Graduate School of Library and Information Studies, I I believe that I could be able to create awareness, create a love for libraries in a way where our Black men, our Black women can really see themselves in libraries.
Talk a bit more about your work as a librarian at Queens College.
Oh, Sam, I could go on all day, so you might have to stop me on this one. Just quick little heads up. But I'm so honored. At Queens College, I am a part of a graduate library science program that is elite. Quite simply put, we are ALA accredited, which is a brand standard of accreditation amongst the MLS graduate degree, the Master of Library Science. And with that, we are also really at the forefront from our professors, adjunct or full-time professors, doctors that are spearheading the research, spearheading the engagement, and supporting next steps. So my personal role is student affairs, where along with that, I'm assisting in the admission. I'm also supporting their next steps during the course of their graduate career. And I'm ensuring that they are ready and they have all the tools to be able to support them as they embark in librarianship.
You said you are ALA accredited. For many of our viewers who don't know the acronym, what is ALA?
ALA is American Library Association, a brand standard that for all of my budding future librarians that might be watching, please just check it out online. You'll be happy to see that this association is not only there to support librarians, but to support the paraprofessionals, to support those that have dual interests. If you're interested in art along with librarianship, you know, a lot of times people think that when they hear libraries, they think books. When I think libraries and librarians, I think information. And information is in all things, in all ways. So we're actually almost in every sector, but I'm proud to be a part of this one.
Let's talk about information, the importance of information. In fact, let's talk about literacy. How important is the library to persons, to students in particular, but to older people as well who use the library to improving their literacy?
Well, I'm happy to share that in my Pathways and Travels, I've worked in public libraries in the Job and Business Academy, supporting adults. I've also run a teen center that had about 100 to 120 kids per day from 2:30 to 6 p.m. So I can definitely share unequivocally that students, adults reach for libraries, reach for this information in different ways. It's a beautiful thing to see, Sam, the way that you find individuals seek libraries in their time of need, as well as in their time of joy. I don't think we share that enough time where you have individuals come into the library to share to their reference librarian or to the support staff and share that I got the job that I've been working on as you've been assisting in mock interviews, or I was able to pass a particular city exam thanks to the book that I was able to get loaned out. And I was able to look online and find things that can change and shape my family as I'm looking for housing, as I'm looking for supportive services. The libraries truly is a one-stop shop to your success. And I'm a proud product of that. My mother, when I was young, brought me to libraries that I had my books stacked up, ready to go. And now as I'm older, I can see the kids the same way, Sam, you and I used to know our social security off the top of our head. Our young men and young women know library card numbers off the top of their head.
The school's chancellor, Chancellor Branks, said that literacy is a priority of the Department of Education. I wanted to speak to that.
Well, I'm so honored and happy to hear Chancellor Banks speak so poignantly on the mission that needs to follow within our Department of Education, because that standard is so critical to all the forms of learning that follow. Literacy helps you in your instructions. Literacy adds context. And let's not forget that literacy also goes beyond just the bounds of just English literacy. So we're talking about multi-language learners. We're also talking about financial literacy. We're also talking about technological literacy in this day and age. So to make literacy the campaign and the next steps for our schools, I believe is not only an important part, but it's going to be an essential part of our history. And my hope is that librarians will also hold up that banner, which I've seen so many of them already do, as we have reference librarians, we have archivists, we have library media specialists that are, you know, holding the banner high to be able to properly inform our community patrons and our community residents.
You said that there are a lot of people using the library. What do you say to that less than a lot? And that less than a lot is, from my research, also a lot of people who do not go into the public library. But what are the alternatives? I know someone is going to say the internet, Google, but what do you say to those people who do not use the library?
To those that don't use the library, I hearken back to the same way that individuals that might have had a backyard and say, why do I need the park? Or an individual that says that I have everything in my home, so why do I need a workforce institute or a museum if I can have my buy my own artwork? We're talking about a society and a diverse community that, quite frankly, we have those that have not, we have those that need support and in abundance. And to that end, the library is there to serve those that need, to serve those that just simply want to enjoy. I've had the pleasure of watching families from out of state as well as out of the country come to a local library and say, I've heard so much about this library. I just wanted to see it. I just wanted to walk around. That was part of their tourist stop. And I believe that if we can step back and see the many comrades, friends, family, people that we serve through library services, I believe that our communities would be a much better place and much more connected to our value system.
The impact of the volume of people using the library and the volume of books in the library since Jay-Z's exhibit.
Oh, now we're cooking over here. So that's an excellent question. And uh, I'll share both as a librarian, as a Black man, and even as a lover of our culture that is hip hop. Uh, what Jay-Z did and what Brooklyn Public Library created a platform for has changed the game. It's allowed individuals to see themselves in the library in a way like no other, where they're walking through the corridors, they're checking out the art, and hip hop is us. It's a part of us. You know, I used to wear one of those shirts that used to say, I am hip hop. And to not only just to see that, but to hear it, to see the video screens, it was truly a majestic feeling. And it was free. It allowed, I mean, I had comrades that all of a sudden was trying to get all of the different library cards because they had well over 6 or 7 different library cards that you could collect, showing different album covers. It restored a different level of interest that I believe will be able to last for many years and will also go beyond just Brooklyn Public Library, but pique individuals' interest towards Queens Public Library, New York Public Library, the New York Public Library in the Bronx, and in Staten Island. Now, individuals are starting to recognize the deep culture that we have that's in the library.
Pop-up kiosks. What are these?
So, the one thing that I'll share is that I believe that pop-up kiosks are the future. I know when people hear kiosks, they normally think of, you know, in malls, you have certain kiosks and you're walking around. But I've had the pleasure, and I'm also a part of a board called Urban Libraries Unite, where there are we have pop-up setups to be able to share information for librarians, for people throughout the community. And I myself, you know, one of the interests that I have is empowering the people. And, you know, on my side time, I know some people have hobbies. My hobby is always serving and advocating for my people. So I co-founded with my comrade, Helen Montero, People Empowered Information, which does pop-up kiosks to serve individuals with whatever need they might have. You know, from a religious framework, we talk about teaching someone how to fish. Well, this kiosk teaches someone how to take care of housing, teaches someone how to find the fundamental steps for job readiness. So it is truly a pop-up that can change the game.
And is this related to passion? Passion to the people?
Well, one thing that I will say, it is related but unrelated. Now, Passion to the People is my consulting agency that I created to be able to support libraries in different ways, to be able to support different entities that I believe are emerging and making a difference in communities of color. And I want to be a part of people becoming successful. I think far too often individuals kind of observe from the rafters or watch in the stands, and when they could help, but they're just like, well, let me just kind of just watch if it's going to succeed or not. Why not lend that hand and serve the greater good? And that is just one of a couple of things that I love to do on my free time. But serving the people with information, especially through Queens College, is something that I
Yes.
love.
Okay, Professor Jeffries, it's such a pleasure having you on Brooklyn 45 and the information which you have provided to encourage people to use or keep on using, or if they're not using, to use the public library. Again, thank you very much for being our guest here on Brooklyn 45.
Thank you, Sam, and Brooklyn 45.
With over 1 million students, New York City's school district is the largest in the United States. New York School Superintendent Shenean Lindsay is our guest to talk about what helps to make the school's districts tick. Shenean, Superintendent Lindsay, welcome to Brooklyn 45.
Thank you. It's a delight to be with you this evening.
There are many people who are unaware of the school superintendent and what the school superintendent does. So let's begin there.
So my number one priority is to ensure that I meet the needs of each and every student in my district. And by the way, there are 10,000 of them. So my number one priority is to ensure that students are reading, they are mathematically sound, that we ensure they have joyous learning experiences so that when they leave school, they leave 12th grade and they go out into the world, they are critical thinkers who can contribute to the world. That's it in a nutshell as far as our children are concerned, but of course there is more. The next step is all about making sure that I hire good principals to lead our schools, because of course this is not a one-woman job. So I hire principals, I support teachers, also by way of professional development and training opportunities so that they employ best practices for our students. I also work side by side with our parent leaders to make really big decisions about the state of our district. And of course, I work shoulder to shoulder with our elected officials so that I can make sure they hear about the needs of our district and they work to support me to make sure that those needs are met in our schools.
10,000 students. That's a huge number of students.
Yes, pretty scary, right?
Yes, and you say you get to know, you get to meet all of the students in your district. That's fantastic.
Yes, I do. I get to interact with all of the students. Just last week, I visited a school, and one of my best moments there was when a little girl says, "There goes Miss Leslie." You know, she says, "Miss Leslie." But I knew she was talking to me, and she says, "You're my best friend. Remember, you're my best friend." And I said, "Yes." And she said, "You came back to visit me." And I said, "Yes, I did." And, you know, she snuck out of class and followed me down the hall to tell me about what had been going on in her life since the last time I visited. And it's moments like that that make a difference to me.
What are some of the challenges that you experience as a superintendent?
I would say that the biggest challenge would be wanting to do so much and not necessarily having enough resources, because there's a lot that needs to be done, but I'm very thankful for grants. My district is a district that we believe in applying for grants. And again, we work very closely with our electeds. So even though there might be issues with resources, we're able to get them fulfilled pretty quickly by way of grants. So it's about making sure we have enough money to get things done. Also about making sure we have the right people in our schools. As you know, as you might know, there's a teacher shortage right now. So it's very, very hard to hire good people because I'm competing with the entire city to recruit and retain really good teachers for our students, particularly special education students and our students who are non-English speaking.
You get to meet all of your students. What about parents? How do parents get to interact with you?
Well, one thing about District 17, we host parent events weekly. So we have lots of Zooms, but we also have events that are in person. So by way of in-person events, I interact with parents, and most parents will tell you that I am very, very personable. I have parent leaders who call me regularly. They text me, they let me know about the state of their schools, they share accolades, and they also share Superintendent Lindsay, things would be better if. And the parents in this district know that they can call me, they can share feedback with me. I've had coffee and tea with some parents. It's not unusual for me to arrive at the district office and parents be in our parent room, utilizing our resources and interacting with our family leadership coordinator and family support coordinator. We have a motto in our district, we rise by lifting others. So we make sure that we work hand in hand, and parents have full access to me. They email me as well, and I am very responsive to them.
There are thousands of parents watching this program as you speak. Talk about the importance of parental involvement in their child's education.
Parental involvement is so important. And I know it's hard. Many of the parents in District 17 have multiple jobs. They might work at night, or maybe they leave for work early in the morning. But we do the best that we can to make sure parents understand the value of them being active in the life of a child. So that's why one thing we do is when we have parent meetings and workshops, we make sure we schedule some in the morning and some in the evening, some on Saturdays. That way there's an opportunity for our families to interact. But being present in a child's life means so much. It doesn't matter how much education you have. It's about just being there to ask, how was school? What's the most important thing you learned today? You know, tell me a little bit about your day. What did you learn? You know, did anything happen that upset you? Just little things like that make a difference in a child's life.
You are with District 17. Now, what is District 17 and what schools do you cover in District 17?
All right, well, if you didn't know, District 17 is the best place to educate a student. So, and I'm going to tell you why. We are located in central Brooklyn, right in the heart of Brooklyn. We are near everything. You can walk to the Brooklyn Children's Museum, the Brooklyn Museum, the Prospect Park, Botanical Garden, you name it, it's right where we are. So we have access to all these cultural institutions, but there are 32 schools under my leadership. We are spread through Ocean Hill, Brownsville, Prospect Parks, Lefferts Garden, Flatbush. So we're all through central Brooklyn.
What would you like our viewers to know about specific successes? I know you said you have a great school, a great district, but talk about the specific successes that you have had as superintendent.
Absolutely. So I've been superintendent for 3 academic years. And since becoming superintendent, District 17 has seen its highest academic gains in reading and math, especially for our special needs students and our non-English speaking students. So I want parents to know we have a wealth of programs. Every school is required to have intervention. We also have intervention, and we have a range of innovative and interactive activities for students at all of our schools that make them fun. So I encourage our parents, if there's a school in your community that you're not sure about, take a tour. You will be very, very surprised and pleasantly surprised about what you see. District 17 is the place to be.
We have about a minute left. Talk about the importance of reading.
Reading is fundamental. And as you know, New York City reads. So One of the biggest priorities that we have in New York City is to make sure every student is a fluent reader before they leave New York City public school system. I am personally committed. We have lots of workshops. We give away books. We do workshops for families to learn how to support their children with reading at home. So there's a lot that we've done. And as a result of that, our reading scores have increased by 7% in the last year, which surpassed the New York City average. So I know we're doing something right.
Superintendent Shenean, Lindsay, it is such a pleasure to have you on Brooklyn 45. I love how you love your district and how you get to know all of the students in your district and how you interact with parents as well. We've got 30 seconds. I'm going to give those 30 seconds to you. Your final words.
Thank you. My final words are, if you're not sure about District 17, please follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We post regularly. You'll get to know a lot about our schools, and I'm always open for a visit. Please stop by the district office anytime.
Thank you, Superintendent Lindsay. It's a pleasure having you on Brooklyn 45.
Thank you.
Again, thank you, Superintendent Lindsay. And thank you, Brandon Jeffries, and to you, our viewers. We thank you for watching Brooklyn 45. We invite you to partner with Brooklyn 45. You can do this in many different ways. We are a 501c3 community TV program. So when you support us with a gift, you benefit and our community benefit as well. So please tell your family, your friends, and your work colleagues to watch Brooklyn 45 programs on cable TV and on YouTube, and to support and be a part of what we do. On behalf of our Brooklyn 45 team, I am Sam Taitt.
Brooklyn 45 is a 501c3 not-for-profit, and we welcome your support. Check out our website, brooklyn45.com, and feel free to donate or share it with your friends and family. Have any comments or questions? Send them to our Facebook, facebook.com/brooklyn45tv. If you have any questions or topics you think we should cover next, shoot me an email over at brooklyn45tv@gmail.com. Thank you again for watching.